Oui, non, yeah, oui. Merci beaucoup. Au revoir, Melanie. G'day, everyone. Just on the phone to Mel, Jack Villeneuve's sister, just making sure I was right to use the Villeneuve name during the recording of this notebook for the 2023 Canadian Grand Prix. Really got a lot to talk about, so pull up a pew, sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. You wouldn't fucking read about it. I want to clarify one thing with you viewers. Do you enjoy maple syrup, driving in the pissing down rain, being able to see anything in front of you, and red flags being waved at you continuously because some bastard's stuffed up? Well, I've got an event for you. The Canadian Grand Prix, held at the Circuit Gilles Villeneuve on the man-made island of Ile Notre Dame, just outside the city of Montreal in Canada. What a venue it is. It's a great place, awesome circuit. Yes, it is a street circuit, and you all know how much I hate street circuits, but this one's different. This is a dedicated circuit that's on the island. It is like no other street circuit I've ever been to or witnessed racing at. It is just one circuit that I hope never disappears off the calendar like Spa. So for FP1, there wasn't a lot of action as we were witness to. And once they've sorted that glitch out, FP2 and 3 were all very wet. And of course, the highlight for me was seeing Lance Stroll constantly spinning his car around because he didn't know which direction to steer it in. So for quali, it was quite interesting quali in terms of the grid. I mean, full credit to Haas for playing the cards right and getting Hulk into P2, but that became then P5 because of his three-place grid penalty. I've argued with some people, I don't know if it was really that fair. I mean, who was he really impeding? A lot of people have told me, well, DURKO, you need to wake up to yourself. It was meant to be a 10-place grid penalty, but they limited it to 3 in fairness to the team and their position towards the pointy end of the grid. But I think there were some other penalties throughout the whole course of the weekend that I think were just bullshit, and some that should have been handed out. So at the end of quali, it was interesting because the stewards officer was a bit of a queue outside the door because we had Tsunoda, Stroll, Hulk and Sainz all called up to explain their manner of driving and what they'd done. Now, I think Sainz this weekend, he left his brain at home and he just turned up, not switched on at all, and was just out to really just get in anyone's way he could on any given time, especially going into the chicane there at the Wall of Champions, the last turn. So, yeah, interesting. And look, at the end of the day, we all knew the Haas was going to get chewed up even from P2 if Hulk had kept that position, but it wasn't to be, and the normal attrition for them rolled down throughout the race. Now, thankfully, it was a dry race because if it stayed wet, we've seen many memorable races there in the rain, of course. It was an outstanding race because there was so much on-track action, I should say, and actual racing, cars just wheel-to-wheel racing with each other, diving into corners, you know, doing the undercut, going wide, overtaking around the outside even. It was just great to see, just a really great race. Really loved it, every minute of it. It was interesting to note, though, that they kept chewing up the white tyres, the hard compound white tyres. They kept getting chewed up, and I thought they'd go a much longer distance. But you've got to give full credit to Alex Albon because he did 57 laps on a set of hards. Now, that guy is an absolute master of looking after his boots. Full credit to him, and I think it's full credit that he got P7 and also the driver of the day. Russell on lap 12, he had a massive hit in his W14. Obviously, they brought some new armoured personnel carrier upgrades to that because they didn't end up... We managed to keep the car going once they'd had a look at it, but it later failed due to a brake issue on the front left. But it was just a massive hit, and he clobbered that wall, absolutely clobbered it. Now, as a result of that, there was a virtual safety car, I believe, and everyone dived into the pits, as you do. Now, there was 2 unsafe releases between Alonso and Hamilton and then Russell and Norris. Now, I can't, for the life of me, figure out why there was no penalty handed out to Hamilton and to Norris for coming out in front of Alonso and Albon, respectively, because I just think it was a bit of a joke that people say, you know, Nando didn't jump on the brakes. Well, he says he did. Somebody said he just turned the steering wheel. You know, make it look like a bit of a joke. But still, I think an unsafe release is an unsafe release. I may have said it Russell early, but I meant Albon and Norris coming together. Yeah, but I just think so many other times they carry on with unsafe release shit, and they just let this one get away. But then, they clearly, they smashed Sainz for his, hindering people coming in through the chicane. Fair enough. Yeah, Hulk got he got his penalty himself, but I think if they're going to dish penalties out for everyone, they've got to do it for the unsafe release. It was just ridiculous they didn't. Now, Norris got a weird one because he got unsportsmanlike driving, and Ted Kravitz and Crofty, they all threw their toys out of the cot. This is bullshit. What's he done? Blah, blah, blah. Well, when everyone was diving into the pits, obviously Piastri's in front of him. He's stacked everyone up. So he didn't have a double stack at McLaren. But if that was the case, why didn't he pull to the side of the road, let the old driver through while he's waiting for the team to clear the pit for him to come in after Piastri? Instead of him backing everyone up, he could have just pulled to the side and made way. He probably would have lost that much time compared to a driver getting in front of him, not pitting, and then he wouldn't have copped this 5-second penalty that obviously took him out of the points. So I just think Norris didn't have his brain switched on then. Now, there was a weird coming together. Now, of course, I knew Nick De Vries was going to be involved in this. That was on lap 35. As they came in through turns 2 and 3, they had a massive coming together, and then they just scrapped with each other like two dogs over a bone. And De Vries wasn't going to give up. He was going to not give up his bit of real estate for a Haas to come through, driven by K-Mag. He's locked it up, and then K-Mag's going, shit, I don't know where I'm going to go. So I wasn't surprised De Vries was involved in that. Bit of a stupid move from De Vries. I think he should have just given up the corner and realised that K-Mag had the grounds on him and possibly the pace. Then we got to the end of the race. Norris is behind him. He's gone on the blower and said, hang on, that rear wing of that Alpine's about to fall off Ocon's car. Now, he was shaking around like nothing else. And I was like, that thing is about to literally come off and just destroy the front of that McLaren or just make a big mess of itself. Why there was no black and orange mechanical flag waved for Ocon's car is beyond me. I don't know. Yes, it was getting towards the end of the race. Why was Ocon not told, be careful of your rear wing? Don't know. Weird. Just weird why nothing ever came of that. But, yep, that's just one of those questions. As I said, like the unsafe release in the pit. Just one thing that will never be answered to me. Now, we're going to give full credit. Obviously, there was a driver of the day. We're going to give a car designer of the day award to Adrian Newey because he got his 200th win of designing an F1 car that has won a race. 100 of those, of course, came with designing the Red Bulls, but the balance have come with the other teams he's designed cars for. So full credit to the guy. I mean, everyone says, we're in the time of, Verstappen just winning everything. But I look back to the time when Ross Brawn and Rory Byrne and Jean Todt were at Ferrari. Michael Schumacher won everything. He could turn up to a raffle and win it and take the meat tray and chook raffle home. He just won everything he turned up to. And then, we've had other drivers do it. Hamilton's done it. Vettel's done it. It's just a ebb and flow thing. It swings and roundabouts. But you've got to give credit to Adrian Newey. The bloke knows how to design a car. So full credit to him for 200 wins as a F1 car designer. The bloke knows what he's doing. So that's it for this edition of DURKO's Notebook for the Canadian Grand Prix for this year. I'll be back in a couple of weeks for the Austrian round. I'm looking forward to that because I just love the Red Bull Ring. It is a great circuit. It is short and it's challenging, and it really can deliver a really good scrapping race where the drivers are scrapping with each other. So I'll be certainly looking forward to that one. So until then, I say thanks for watching, and I shall see you in 2 weeks' time. Until then, bye-bye.